welcome back to Irish Football Fan TV. I'm delighted to be joined by Paul Machin from the Redmen TV, and we're here in their studio speaking about Caoimhín Kelleher. Paul, it's well renowned you're a huge Liverpool fan, and you would have seen a lot of Kelleher playing for Liverpool. What are your kind of thoughts on him?
I've been really impressed, to be perfectly honest. The first time he kind of came to my attention, probably a year or whatever ago, and I just... He's an odd-looking lad. I don't mean like, you know, facially or whatever. I mean like just the way his build. He's still very slight, isn't he? He's very tall. He doesn't quite have like this commanding presence if you just see him casually. But in terms when he gets between the sticks, there's a real confidence about him that I was quite taken aback by, to be honest. He definitely plays like a much more mature footballer than he is in his years. I expect young goalkeepers to come in and be really edgy, to be really nervous and what have you, and that's why, look, I've played in goal for years, and that's why you tend to have like, you don't reach your peak until you hit your 30s as a goalkeeper. You know, there's a generational thing. I've been so impressed by what I've seen of him so far. Yeah,
like, I know he's played in cup games and stuff, so he probably hasn't played that regularly. I'm not sure if you would have been to under 23 games to see him. I imagine you've been to a few at least, but from when he's got the shirt, besides the Aston Villa game, have you been impressed in terms of his actual for the first team?
Yeah, definitely. That I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, he plays in the League Cup team against Aston Villa, which obviously, as everyone knows by now, was basically Liverpool's under 18s. Largely played in that game. I thought he conducted himself really well. He was really unlucky that night. Two of the goals, there's one that gets deflected over his head. He's just got absolutely nothing he can do about it. Yeah, he was a little bit sold down the river by the team selection and circumstance on the night. But I still think again, his confidence with the ball at his feet, is comfortable. He's very comfortable in playing the ball, which you need to be a Liverpool goalkeeper. And past that, we've seen a couple of opportunities to get a look at him. And what Liverpool do as well, and something they've only started doing in recent years, they bring two additional goalkeepers to every match, particularly the Premier League games. So you've got Alisson's obviously number one. Adrian might be number two, and then you find Kelleher being number three. The two of them are part of the warm-up. They have this really tight goalkeeper community almost. So he's getting this match day experience. He's not just training with Alisson Becker, who is the best goalkeeper in the world, Monday to Friday on the training pitch. He's going into the ground with him. He's soaking up the atmosphere. He's being involved in that. He's going through the training. You know, he's having shots took at him and going through the warm-ups and that. So you find that his development will probably come on in leaps and bounds. And like I say, I think the biggest thing, and I know Klopp's talked about it, is just his self-confidence in what he does. I'm not sure quite where his level is yet, but it's far too early to tell, you know, to make any cast-iron judgments on him.
Yeah, just in regards to you mentioned obviously Adrian started the season with Liverpool, but even if he was to kind of oust him, I don't see him getting in ahead of Alisson anytime soon. But if he was to do it, do you think he can, or does he need to go out on loan to get a bit more experience? Probably, I suppose.
Yeah,
for a championship club maybe.
Yeah, I think the loan move is probably the right idea, and that's the real difficulty in goalkeepers, and that's why it's very difficult to be a goalkeeper. You don't see many examples of keepers who come through an academy and end up as a first choice, not at the very, very top level. Yeah. I can't think of actually any examples of that, to be perfectly honest. Some maybe get a chance.
Casillas at Real Madrid probably the only one.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a generational talent. I think Kasper Schmeichel maybe got a very slight go at Man City or whatever, but not when they were where they are now. So yeah, you need to play a lot of football, because so much of goalkeeping is psychological. It is experience. You need to know where, position and all that stuff, and how you compose yourself and how you conduct yourself. Shot stopping's only part of it. It's the most celebrated part of it. It's the most understood part of goalkeeping, but it's the full package. Again, I keep referencing. It's why you have Ed van der Sar leaves Fulham and goes to Manchester United and becomes like the second most successful goalkeeper they've ever had after Peter Schmeichel, and he should have been done by most expectations. I think a good solid championship loan might serve him really well. He could do with getting in amongst it, getting into a league. It's a bit of a cliche about the championship, but it's somewhere it was going to rough him up. Where they're going to play big eyeballs into the box and have these big, burly, slow lump centre forwards who are just going to elbow him in the head and all that kind of stuff, and see how he copes, because I think he's got so many of the raw ingredients, But look, he's still a kid, isn't he? You know, he's probably 5 years away from even, you know, filling out his body. So no, I think Adrian's probably got another season at least as a backup for Liverpool. So yeah, that probably makes the most sense.
Well, I think as well, as you mentioned, is that he's good with the ball at his feet as well, which not a lot of the Ireland goalkeepers are known for. And we have a quite a good selection, I suppose, of under 21 good players that are coming through that are good with the ball at their feet. They're all kind of coming through the championship right now. Please God, they keep going the way they're going. But if we, like, even Martin O'Neill, when his last season, he had Kelleher in training with him, so he seems to be really highly regarded as a prospect, I suppose.
Well, you see this. You see this. Wales have got a bit of this going as well. Like, you know, we've seen Harry Wilson come through and playing senior games for Wales before he's even playing senior games for Liverpool. Ben Woodburn did a similar thing as well. They got a couple of examples of that, and that's actually a good thing for Kelleher, I think, to be honest, because it means that the more professional games of football at the highest level he can possibly get, the better for him, really, and the better for his development. And it is, I think, logically, it's a bit putting the cart before the horse, I think, to play international football before you play regular domestic football. But whatever works, if he's good enough, then he'll get his chance, and it wouldn't shock me to see him getting more opportunities in the coming years, certainly. Look, I can't attest to know what the goalkeeping situation's really like. Long gone are the days of me of avidly following Shea Given or Packy Bonner back in the day, like. But I think he's definitely got something, and if he gets fast tracked, which I think him being at Liverpool might help that as well, it might give the international scene a bit more confidence in him. Yeah, I could see him having a bright future.
Well, I think that's what's happened with Kieran OHara. He's at Man United. He went on loan to Burton, and himself and Mark Travers, who's playing now in goals with Bournemouth. Not playing every week, but he's getting some games in the Premier League. So it seems to be a case where they are getting the chance to play, because Darren Randolph's, he's getting into his 30s now, so there's an opportunity there for, as I said, Travers, OHara, and maybe even Kelleher to maybe get the chance to come in and play there now. And as you said, it might be a chance he plays actually for Ireland before he plays for Liverpool, or it could be even a case of the way things are happening now. There's a lot more players going abroad in terms of loan deals, so that might as well, because we talked about being good at his feet, and it might be a case of Klopp sending maybe even to Germany. Well,
it could be. You know, we've seen it be a route, certainly. I think that if Klopp's got a high opinion of him, I think he likes to keep players that he really wants to keep an eye on as close as possible. We've seen a few examples. I mean, like, we've got a guy on loan in the second division of the Bundesliga in Stuttgart who's just came back for the Everton game, of course. But I think he'll want him. I think he'll benefit him more in the Championship, to be honest, or better. You know, even if he has to go down to League One for a season, he's still so young. That I think if he's gonna have aspirations of being a goalkeeper, a British goalkeeper, playing in the in England, certainly, or maybe even up in Scotland, I think he needs to stay as local as possible and get a real sense for how to play at this kind of level. But he's, as I say, having those technical attributes, he wouldn't put it past you. You genuinely never know. I think whatever it is, he needs to go somewhere and get. We saw this with Danny Ward, actually. He went and had a good season in the Championship with Huddersfield, got promoted, didn't quite have what it takes to get to Liverpool, and his career stalled after he moved to Leicester. It's important for him to go somewhere where he gets games.
Yeah, I also think as well, I think it's important for, I suppose, an Irish perspective. It's good on Liverpool's side to having an Irish player still in the squad. It still brings that Irish connection. As you know, there's many Irish Liverpool fans who obviously have that connection, and when you have an Irish player tying into that with that connection, it obviously helps as well.
Oh God, yeah, made up a long story tradition. I don't need to tell you guys. Obviously going back for me growing up, it was Houghton and Aldridge and Ronnie Whelan, Mark Lawrenson, I think that's right, isn't it? And then moving forward, even like the lesser lights of Jason McAteer and what have you. But yeah, there should always be that Irish connection, and that's one of the things what I really like about it. We're seeing local talent coming through. You start to see more Scouse players, but Welsh players and Irish players, that they are the lifeblood of Liverpool. So if we can engineer a situation where you've got, make Ireland's number one mean something again. I mean, I'm sure it's been a long time since there's been an Irish goal. Probably, there's not been too many Irish players really who've really taken a place on the world stage in the last 15-20 years. Yeah. Robbie Keane being there's been a handful at best. Liverpool in position, if he's good enough to play for Liverpool, then he's good enough to play for anyone in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, listen, thanks very much for your time. I'll leave it there. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on Caoimhín Kelleher. If you haven't subscribed to Redmen TV or checked out Paul's channel, make sure and check it out. Huge thanks again for your time.
No problem.
We'll speak to you soon.